And believe me, today's mainstream media ain't gonna provide it for you. They're bought and sold, people. We don't have a free press in this country anymore. By the way, you all know why I disappeared for 3 years after I left office? Well, I was the hottest commodity out there. CNN, Fox, and MSNBC were chasing me down. I signed a huge contract with MSNBC, and they wouldn't allow me on the air because I opposed the invasion of Iraq. Remember before the invasion, there wasn't one person on television being negative about it, asking why are we doing this. It was a rush to war, and we all sat back and allowed it. I don't like my country today. I don't like our ego. We can't admit when we've done something wrong. We can't admit that when the course was wrong to begin with, we won't change it. We stay on a wrong course to begin with. A Navy man should know better than that, John McCain. Why would you continue on that course? You wouldn't in the Navy. If one of our ships goes out to port and is on the wrong course, guess what? We correct it. And we get back on the right course. I opposed the war in Iraq before it even happened. And I'll tell you why I opposed it. I didn't oppose it for probably the normal reasons everyone else did. I opposed it because I felt that having grown up, I'm Slovak. And I grew up believing that I was Czechoslovakia. Why? Because the big red machine had taken two separate countries and made one. Well, they're now separate, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And I learned that when I was at a party one day and my 88-year-old aunt was there. She's gone now. But somebody asked me at the party, what nationality are you? And I said, I'm Czech. And she spun around in her chair and her crooked little finger went up and she said, you're not Czech, you're Slovak. I said, oh, I'm Slovak. And then I did some studying and realized these were two separate countries put together by Russia to be one country. Well, here's the point I'm getting to. The Nazis did it, the communists did it, invaded countries and occupied them without being asked to. I always held my country on a pedestal. I never believed the United States of America, without being asked, would line up our military on the border of another sovereign nation, that we would invade that nation, overthrow its government, and occupy it. And I laugh today when I hear this current administration chastising Russia for going into Georgia, saying they're outraged. 5 years ago, we invaded Iraq, and we're still there. They never asked us. They didn't say, United States, come and help us. In fact, weren't we told we would be greeted like liberators?
Absolutely.
At what point does car bombs mean you're greeted by like liberators? You know, I remember our boys in World War II when they got into France and all that, and the women would run up to them as they're marching down the street and kiss them. That's being greeted like a liberator. How the hell does Dick Cheney think a car bomb's equal to a kiss? You know? But again, you got, you know, and by the way, our illustrious VP, had he not got 5 deferments from the military would have taught him how to use that weapon. President Clinton once said something that terrified me, believe it or not. I mean, I've been ragging on Bush and Cheney. I shouldn't leave him out. But you know what it was? And it wasn't Monica. Do you know what he scared me with? President Clinton one time said, how can you love your country and not love your government? He said that. Now, I would challenge him to ask a German that in 1939. How you can love your country but not your government, because people, not all the Germans were Nazis. The Nazis were just a party that took control of a country. and then they burned the building down to get everybody into a war type mentality. Remember that? And then I'll finish with this. Did I tell you about Goring, right?
No.
No? Well, Thomas Jefferson, one of his most famous quotes was, dissension is the greatest form of patriotism. Yet, since 9/11, we've been following the teachings of Hermann Goring, Hitler's right-hand man. Hermann Goring said it's easy to take a country to war. It doesn't matter if it's a democracy, a dictatorship, or a communist, or whatever. All you have to do is convince the people they're under attack, denounce the pacifists for being unpatriotic, and denounce them for putting the country into danger with their position. Is that not what we've been told since 2001? When I find out my country is following the mindset of Hermann Goring, a Nazi, and not Thomas Jefferson, I find that quite disturbing, people. Next question. I personally, if I were president, here's what you'd get. When you're $9 trillion in debt, there will be no more foreign aid. How can you give out foreign aid? I would switch that, and it would then be called domestic aid. And we will keep our money in our own country and fix our own country before we worry about fixing the rest of the world. The other thing I would do, not only would I bring the troops home from Iraq, I would bring them home from Germany. If they want us, they pay for it. If they want to be protected by us, they pay for it.
You got it.
Otherwise, bring them all home.